me that this house has relatives to the gardeners that used to be part of, what'd you say,
Blair Witch.
the Bell Witch
They
haunting.
were cousins or something like that.
They were cousins. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, did this house, was it noted to being spooky?
No, that's not the one. Joshua, I think it was Joshua. Is it
John?
Joshua? He went to Gardner, where Gardner is. They
Over
used
by
to-
Martin?
His cousin, I guess it was.
I think it was.
So
his
this
cousin.
house itself was not haunted?
I don't, I've never heard anything
No,
about it.
nobody. Well, I don't think. Well, there was.
Was there
Somebody-
spooks anywhere in this county?
Or behind the volunteer bank,
Yeah, they say that house is haunted.
Behind the what?
Bank Course South on the square.
Oh,
And
really?
some lady said there used to be a cemetery behind Noah's Ark, but it's probably not there now because they built the walking trail. And there was tombstones there, and she said it was haunted, so I don't know.
But what about Gardner?
That's what I'm trying to find him. Joshua. Joshua went to. Let's see. He went to Gardner to try to outrun the Bell Witch.
Outrun who?
The Bell Witch.
I don't know what that is. Is that some sort of a race?
You don't know the Bell Witch? You don't know the story about the Bell Witch?
What is that?
The Bell Witch lived in what county?
The Bell Witch?
Yes, she was in, what county is that? Robinson County.
Okay.
And,
And he had moved from there towards trying to outrun her?
yes, there's a
And he
whole-
bought a place in Gardner?
he went to his cousin's uncle, something like that. Let's see, I don't know what it tells whether he was. His uncle's house.
Right.
And he stayed there to try to get rid of the Bell Witch because she tortured the whole family.
Oh, me.
And so there's books about her. This is one of them. Then there's another one somewhere.
Is the Bell Witch the witch that wound up putting her hand on a big rock and left the impression of her hand on that rock?
Could have been, I don't know exactly. I know she did a lot of things, they said.
Well, it's kind of spooky down there at Hop-In, just the edge of Weakley County. They built a castle house down there.
Oh yeah, I know where that's at.
The castle people?
They're the,
The Wiccans.
yeah, Wiccans, yeah. Now, that wasn't where she was.
But was there some sort of a spook or something down in that area?
I've never heard of a spook down there.
I hadn't either.
There's a place up around Harlansville that's called Swinging Limb. They said it was haunted because they used to hang people there. I don't know.
Okay,
They say that the old Jeter house that's behind Bancourt South is haunted. They had the lady that lived there bought it and they were remodeling it and one day she went in to eat breakfast and she saw this ghost or something. Anyway, she left, never did it go back, and they sold it. And somebody lives in there now. They say it's haunted. I don't know. And my mom used to tell a tale of the railroad track over there by where World Color used to be. She said a man went up there and killed himself on the railroad tracks. It says sometimes you can see a light or something there, but I think that's the only one I ever heard her tell that nobody around here told that.
I know
story.
the whole town of Martin died during the time that it was called something else over the Black Plague or some sort of
They had yellow fever, and they
Yellow
didn't
fever?
all die, but they had the yellow fever. What it was is they had Mr. Martin founded the town. He ordered some hay brought in from Louisiana, somewhere down south, and it had mosquitoes in it.
Really?
And back then they didn't know what mosquitoes were,
Oh, really?
and they carried the yellow plague and
Oh, me.
or yellow fever, and they
It killed a bunch of people,
killed a
didn't it?
bunch of people. Yeah.
I mean, a
And
lot of people. It
there's
was
a
dozens and dozens
cemetery
of
called the
people.
Yellow Fever Cemetery, and
Right.
they didn't even have a cemetery in town,
Right.
and so that's the first cemetery that they had. Was
How
there.
about over towards Garrett Lake? Isn't it supposed to be a cemetery over there that's supposed to be one of the oldest cemeteries in Weakley County?
There's
that-
possible. There's a lot of
During the
they
Revolution War,
they did have a battle up there in Barnesville.
they did.
Yeah, and it tells about it.
Was that during the Revolution War?
No, the Revolutionary War, it wasn't the Revolutionary War. In fact, Weakley County was settled by the people that fought in the war, 1812. They got war grants, and they were given partials of property for fighting in the war.
Right.
It wasn't, the county wasn't founded until 1823.
Ah, so this was still a territory.
Originally from North Carolina all the way to the Tennessee River before you get to this part,
Right.
that was North Carolina.
Ah.
Originally, East Tennessee was East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee was West Tennessee. Then they did the Louisiana Purchase, and they also bought some this land from some of the Indians.
Ah.
And then they made this West Tennessee.
Okay. What year was it that Davy Crockett come down here? Wasn't that around 1812? It was, or
probably
maybe
was
a little
here.
earlier.
Probably was here somewhere when the county was founded, probably.
Because didn't he survey all that Reelfoot Lake? And that was
No.
the next question I was going to ask you.
He
How come the
went down
Reelfoot
there.
Lake? How come the Reelfoot Lake archives is in some of our Weakley County books here?
Because it was kind of connected, because it was part of Obion at one time. Weakley, part of Obion was in Weakley, and Weakley used to be square.
It
and
did.
they gave the corner to Obion, because Obion wanted Union City to be the county seat, and it had to be so many miles from another county, so they cut that corner off. Rutherford, where David Crockett settled, was in Weakley County, but they decided they were too far from the courthouse, and they had to go across rivers and stuff. So Weakley gave them that corner. Then there was another corner.
Oh, wait,
somewhere
wait,
there.
back up for a second. Didn't David Crockett also live here temporarily in Dresden?
He,
Of course, it wasn't called
he
Dresden at that
didn't
time.
live really in Dresden. He lived, it would have been out in the woods somewhere. They say Rutherford, and then I've heard.
Is it over there where the big
around
cypress tree
Christmasville.
is? It's over in that area, like going into Gibson County?
Look, it's near Rutherford.
Yeah, going towards Rutherford.
But there was two places over there he lived. One is still in Weakley County.
Right. You never did hear about him surveying Reelfoot Lake?
I heard him being there. I never heard him surveying it.
What are you talking about? Witches? and stuff?
David. And witches.
We're talking about a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So that's probably the reason why that this is in here then. Because like you said, at one time, this was all a big territory, and because Lake County, which is Reelfoot Lake, was
That
still
Lake-
associated to some degree with Weakley County
That
before they
was part
actually went
of-
in and
in fact, it was part of
colonized everything.
Obion, and they divided it to Lake
Okay.
at one time. And then part of
Well, Union City wasn't named because of the Union?
I think it was named because of railroad.
The Union Express?
Probably, I don't know, something about the railroad, I think.
So it really didn't have nothing to do with the Union up north?
No,
But you're looking at some more witches pertaining to the witches?
I was trying to find that where the battle was. And Lockridge Mills. That's where they had the.
That's where they had the
Civil War.
Revolution War.
No, they never. This Revolutionary War, Weekly County was founded after the Revolutionary War.
But there were still some people here that was fighting for that Revolution War.
No, there was nobody here but Indians.
Nobody here but Indians.
Not in West Tennessee.
What kind of Indians?
Chickasaw and Choctaw.
Chickasaw and
Choctaw.
Choctaw. Did any of these Indians speak English?
I don't know. I haven't heard them say.
Are you familiar with the guy that taught them English up in East Tennessee?
That was the Cherokee.
That pertaining to, what was his name? They got the big sequoia trees named after him.
That was the Cherokee.
Right, but are you familiar with Mr. Sequoia?
I'm familiar with the one that they called him English. He was he's in the Tennessee history books and stuff.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
Tennessee history books?
Yeah.
Because of his elegancy towards teaching the Indians the ABCs?
Yeah. Well, not all the Indians. The Cherokee didn't live in like tents. They lived in houses.
Did they?
Yes. And the Indians that came in here, most of them were just hunting in this area.
Well, you know the Trail of Tears ain't too far away from here. You know that, right? Up towards
yeah, they marched
up towards,
them all the way through.
But I mean, the Trail of Tears isn't what 50 miles from here.
Yeah, but they were
Come up through Trigg County, right? Up through Kentucky.
But they marched them through here from East Tennessee.
They marched them through Weekly County.
If they couldn't find them, they went and hid somewhere, and then they didn't get those. But they marched them all the way through Tennessee, all the way through.
There was a trail in Weekly County?
I don't know where it was right in Weekly County, but they marched them all the way from East Tennessee all the way to Oklahoma.
Right, and they went over the Mississippi River over there at Columbia.
Yeah. Well, they probably went north.
The Mississippi River, just north of here.
Probably. But the Indians that were here was Chickasaw and Choctaw. And by the time the settlers got here, most of them had moved out. There really wasn't all that many Indians left.
Do you love Tennessee? Do you love being in Tennessee?
I guess I've been here all my life.
Other than having a governor from the great state of Weekly County, or the area of Weekly County, can you name off anything else that we're noted for here?
Weekly County?
Yeah, other than witches and that battle that you was telling me about, and that haunted house.
I don't know exactly. I have to think about that one.
What's this right here about Gordon?
That may be the gardener that lived. I'm not sure which gardener that was.
1876.
That may be the one that lived in Gardner.
I bet it is.
I'm not sure it's the one that lived in Gardner or the one.
I bet it is. This is the guy here that was running from the, what'd you say the witch's name was?
Blair Witch.
Male witch?
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. The Blair Witch.
Well, he didn't live in here though. I mean, he moved, but he didn't stay. I don't think. I think the one that lived here was J.A. Gardner.
Let me ask you another question. Getting off subject, and I realize we're bouncing around on different subjects. Because I used to go to school here, and I used to work here for Jimmy Atkins. It was the auto builder's body shop. They're on Highway 22. He had a grandfather by the name of Mr. Wooten. Did you know Mr. Wooten? Mm-hmm. Did you?
I knew of him. I mean, I knew he ran the car dealership.
What dealership was that? Was it a Chevrolet dealership?
Mm-hmm.
Was it out there on 22 or off
No,
this
it was
road
on
over here?
54.
Oh, really? It was over here?
Yeah, there's a 54 going towards Paris. It's over there where there's a wrecker service and car repair place there now.
Right. That was where it was at.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of those people over there? Because I think I know them too.
Watson's who runs that now.
Yeah, Watson's. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, there's other things on here, bits and pieces,
Thanks.
because I put things together.
You've done well.
To,
You've done really, really well. Did you know the governor, McWhorter? Did you know him?
Mhm.
Did you?
Yep. Used to come in here every now and then.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
He paid to have this building built, right?
Yep, he did.
Out of his own pocket?
He said that the children from the daycare used to walk in front of his house.
He's done a lot of good things
Down to the old library.
for not only Weakley County, but for the state of Tennessee, didn't he?
He walked down to the old library, which was tiny, but we had everything we had in it fit in here, and made it full. But he said that when he got out of office, he was going to build the children and the people of Weakley County a library, and he did. That's the whole library.
That's the old library.
Mhm.
God, it wasn't big at all, was it?
And,
It was very, very small.
So when he built when he got out of office, that's what he did.
Well, a lot of history here.
Yeah, I collect it and put it in the notebooks. And a lot of libraries put them in vertical files, but they're not going to do anybody any good in a vertical file. So I always put them in.
Well, you've done well. You
so
really
they
have.
can,
And of course, the guy Dresden that they named the town after, he's got a picture in the courthouse itself.
Mr. Emerson,
Was that his name?
he named it for Dresden, Germany.
Dresden, Germany.
Yes.
And what was his real name?
Emerson, I think so.
Emerson?
Let me see. Or maybe it was Mr. Terrell that they named it. He named it. Reuben, yeah.
You got books of it too?
We got him. There's about David, 1823.
Really?
This one's kind of backwards because it got taken apart at one time. This was for the centennial, or Squissocentennial. Anyway, it was his hometown, so he named he named it for Dresden, Germany. It was named for Dresden, Germany.
He was a descendant from Germany then, huh?
And he, but when they christened, what's so funny, when they christened Dresden, they say that they were going to take a bottle of whiskey and christen it,
Right.
but they didn't want to waste the whiskey, so they drank it first.
Scoundrels.
They didn't want to lose it. Want to lose the.
So it come to an existence in 1819.
Yeah, they started moving in, but didn't become a county later.
And there was from Germany. Wow. There is a lot of history here, huh?
Most of the people who settled first came down to Harmsville and then Dresden and then along in here as they went on down in the county. So that's the reason Dresden is,
Central.
yeah, and they find a lot of relatives here because that's where they were settled.
Times change, don't they? Times change. Events change. People changes. Their thought pattern changes.
That was how-
Have you ever been told anything about where Davy Crockett was born up in East Tennessee?
I've read about it, but
Wasn't it supposed to have been like the state of Madison? They was going to call it a state, at that time, and to this
Well,
day.
They
the-
started. They started a country somewhere up that way, and they called it Franklin, I think it was, but they got stopped.
In other words, the big guys stopped him.
Yeah.
But now he also worked for the state of Tennessee, didn't he? David Crockett?
He was a congressman.
And then
Ran for Congress.
they didn't agree with his line of thinking? Was that it?
He had so many. I mean, he was kind of a ruffian. He got in some fights with some people, and had some kind of disagreement. I can't remember all the details. Like I said, I have read about it before, so he kind of lost some of the election or something. Anyway, when he went to the Alamo, really he was
Disheartened.
he was kind of ready to do something else. So
He was disheartened to the point that he told everybody that they could go straight to the bad place, right?
yeah, he was.
Who did he tell that to?
I don't remember.
But he did tell that though, didn't he?
But
He told
didn't
everybody
like
that they could go straight to the jumping off place.
But he decided that he would go
Fight
elsewhere.
in the Spanish Revolution.
Mhm.
And wound up going down there, and I guess one of those Indians killed him.
And he got knocked off. When Indians, it's Mexicans.
Mexicans, yeah, Mexicans.
Or Spanish. I think it was Spanish.
Yeah, they got him.
Because I think Spain owned Mexico at the time.
Right. That was right after or right before, whenever the Louisiana Purchase happened.
It was after.
Was it?
Yeah, Texas had decided they wanted to be a state, and they didn't want to be part of Mexico or Spain anymore, and they wanted to be their own state, and so they were trying to fight for freedom
Fight for their independence, really?
from.
And I was told that the way that they signed the Declaration was that they signed it under gunpoint, basically being forced. But in their rules that they've always got in their policies, they put in there that if they ever wanted to, what is the word, succeed
Mhm.
from the Union, that they had that right, that they could do that.
But they
So they really didn't want to be part of the United States, did they? They wanted to be by
I
themselves.
think part of them did. Part of them didn't. At first, I think they wanted to be independent from, but then later, I think they decided they wanted to be part of the United States. So, I think it was either probably Sam Houston or some of them probably were leading them and telling them what to do. So, in fact, there's a movie called Texas, I think it's called. It's not. Some of it's not.
I've seen it. I've seen it, and that's where they got the name in Houston. Houston, Texas was named after Sam Houston.
Mm-hmm. And Austin, he was part of it too.
Right.
In fact,
Hey Carol,
uh-huh.
tell him we're fixing to close.
Yeah, we're fixing to.
Okay.
Gotta call it.
All right. Thanks for talking to me.
Uh-huh.